When you're ready.
What? What were we saying?
Talk.
Oh, what were we saying? Hey, or do you have to do it together?
Yeah, all right, let's do it together. Ready?
Okay.
1, 2, 3. Hi
Hey
guys.
So luckily today I'm not at work today, so I'm actually at home, so I'm able to help Mike, and today we're going to be doing the fence, doing some concreting.
So let's get into it, hey?
We shall.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's go.
Hi guys, and thanks for joining me for this first video of the fence build. So what's the first part of a fence build? Digging the holes, the worst part of the job. So I'm not going to bore you with too much of that, but I'm just showing you here basically that I'm sizing the hole by cutting the grass out, which was really handy, and I'm going to remeasure this shortly, and then I dug it down to the depth that I wanted, which was 3 feet deep or 900 mil. So yeah, just going to get a tape measure on that and make sure I'm right, because I want this fence to be there forever. So the driveway, it got cut up. You can just see a bit there at the bottom where it got cut up when we had the sewage put in. So this driveway, it wasn't a real good concrete job anyway, it was very old. So I just had to break a bit out the size of the hole. So I just ran my grinder along there to score a line, and then I just got the crowbar in and snapped those bits out quite nicely. So yeah, just digging it right to the very edge of the property line there, and yeah, that was another digging job out the way then. Alright guys, so I put this video in here for your entertainment. You'll see why shortly. Bam, hit the water. So yeah, that was a bit of a setback, but luckily look how close that tap was from the meter. Turned it off straight away without getting everything too soaked. Only a little bit of water on the camera, which was good. So off to Bunnings we went, and we picked up the necessary parts to repair it, and it was quite easy. Bit of pipe, 2 lots of fittings, and just had to dig down a little bit, put the fittings on, and we had it fixed in no time. The longest time was the 45-minute drive there and back, or 20 minutes there, 20 minutes back. So anyway, got that all sorted, put the string line back in place, checked the hole size and carried on digging, but was careful not to hit that pipe again. I mean, who digs a pipe and puts it in the ground less than a shovel depth? That's just a bit nuts in my book. So anyway, we overcome that one. So on to the next hole, got that one going, and check the size, that was all good. So I'm digging these holes all the same. I don't think they all have to be. But whoops, look what I did. I hit another pipe, same pipe, not another pipe. So because I only got one lot the fittings to fix one, I had to go back to Bunnings and pick up more fittings, but I had enough hose, because it only takes a little bit of hose as a joiner piece in the middle of the 2 sets of fittings. So got that nice and tight and checked for leaks, and we had another job fixed up and had to dig around another pipe. I knew it was there, just I didn't realise it was so close. So that was great, getting rid of the digging job. Now I'm on to building of the timber footings. So I used, I guess in the States it would be called a 2x4. We call it 90 by 35 over here. And yeah, I just wanted something nice and strong that wasn't going to bow, so I didn't have to stake it in too many places, and we'd get a nice straight edge. So just you know, made sure that I was careful about sticking right on the string lines for the internal part of the footings, and that they were spread at the correct width, and I just worked my way around. So you can see me just checking the width there as my spacer, just to make sure that I didn't pull it in when I put the stakes in. So just checking, I checked diagonals as well, just to make sure that it all turns out nice and square. Cooper's got in with the sledgehammer and he's having fun there. And so we had to take more concrete out to put the timber footing. You can see it's got some, because what I didn't realise was that when you dig a hole the right size and then you make your formwork to go around it, you got nowhere to put the stakes to hold it in place. So we had to put those extension pieces on, which meant we needed to dig out the concrete because it was too high on top of the concrete. Because this side, sorry, not this side, but the pillar on the other side was our starting point, was the highest point in the garden. So we had to start with that at our finished level and work our way out to each of the pier footings. So it wasn't too bad getting that concrete broken up and rubble taken out. So now we're leveling it. So now this is really important. If you're doing brickwork, you want to start with the level footing. Now look, I should mention that I'm not a bricklayer, I'm not a concreter, I'm none of that, but I'm handy and I can work accurately. So if you can work accurately, you can do any job really. You just got to find out how. So, you know, obviously watch some videos. So I was just leveling from this pier across to the other pier to get the height of that. So I just put a spacer, a packer in the middle, and then I knew that was level, so then I could then put the straight edge across and go on top of that pier and level that one up. So that's how I got that extra long length without any internal panel pieces to use to level. So you can see now I've just pushed that wire fence out slightly so that my pier is right on the fence line. That's important so that we don't have any more arguments with the guy next door, that he was very upset that we teed into his sewer line, even though that's what the council told us we had to do and I had nothing to do with it. So anyway, we won't have any arguments about where the fence is. So I made these stakes up, so I just had some of my pine stud material there, and I just cut it down the guts and cut it to length and set the drop saw over and put a point on it, because if you don't have a point, it then walks as you hit it in, so it's best to just get a point there. More digging, guys. Oh well, at least it was only 2. So put this down, then I realised, hang on a minute, this footing here is got to be way higher. So that's me shaking, well, I wasn't shaking my head, but I was looking backwards and forwards going, oh no, this has got to go heaps higher. So yeah, levelled it to the first bit, because I'm having a gate go in the middle there. So yeah, I had a space where I had to just level them across. So yeah, just I had to add in those extra bits just because I didn't want the concrete bulging out too far. So just added in those extra bits and then plenty of stakes. And I went around afterwards and I actually strengthened up all of the footings. I put in extra bits and I stood on it all to make sure it was strong. Then I had to get the grubber and take out a little bit of depth here because I had Rio going in with the shoes and I didn't want it right near the top. So just grubbed all that out. That didn't take too long. Wasn't definitely. Alright, so now that we've got all the formwork firmly in place, I wanted to put plastic down there. Now I don't think it's really necessary for a fence, but I like to overdo things, and I thought, well, it doesn't hurt to not get moisture into your concrete. So I put some plastic down, but I'm sure it wasn't necessary. In fact, I think it probably made my job harder. But anyway, I put the plastic in, and I'm going to make some modifications before I finish all the concreting. So I got my conduit, and I put my cable for my lighting in here. So I wanted the cable fully protected. So I just put it, I got some of this conduit. It's really cheap. It's like $7 for 4 meters, so I only needed about, I think I end up using about 6 lengths. And here's the Rio. Now this is the 6mm or 1/4 inch Rio. I am just building a small brick panel, a very low brick fence in between the piers, and then it's going to have a timber panel above it. So I didn't need real heavy Rio, but I wanted something to connect all the bits together, just to give it that strength, so that the piers didn't get any cracks and separate it all. But once again, that's probably not necessary in here, but why underdo something that you want to last forever? So a bit of wiring, I'm just doing a bit of fancy slow motion here. Need my pliers, need my wire strippers and a screwdriver and some connectors. I just thought it was a fancy bit of slow motion. So where this wire goes across, and then it goes up the inside of the pier to put a coach light on the outside, I needed to just join this. So I was going to double up the wire so that I didn't have to, but I would have had to have doubled up the conduit and all that. And then I thought, well, I saw these fittings, these junction boxes, so I thought, that's perfect, just what I need. So just stripped the wires, put the connectors on, and then jammed it all back in the hole and screwed the lid on it. So once again, I screwed the lid on. I'm sure it seals perfectly, but I got some tape and I wrapped tape around there as well. So then we had Julie running out the wire for the electric fence actuators, and I told her to get out twice as much as what we needed, because I wanted to put in double the amount, but I got her to get out 4 times the amount, so that was a bit silly of me, but she did it for me. And then I had to tell her, oops, I messed up. So she's now having to try and fight with it's not easy to cut these wires with pliers. You really need side cutters. And no, not in this little chat.
Okay.
So we're having lunch. We haven't mixed up any concrete yet, so we've got everything ready over there for us to get going. So we've fueled us up with a nice roll that Julie made, and we've got some water for when we get hot. What is it, 21 today?
21.
It's 21.
It's still hot though.
Today. It's bloody hot out in the sun. It's like when you start getting those days that, like, you'll get a winter's day that's 21, but it'll be a bit cloudy and you're like, oh, this isn't bad. But when you get a clear sky, it's not really clear, but there's not many clouds, and it's like the hot kills us. It's like, this is horrible. Bring back the middle of winter for me. We don't get bad winters here, so you know, our winter, a cold day is about 13 Celsius, which is, I'm guessing, it's probably like in the 60s Fahrenheit is my guess. You can Google it.
I can Google it.
Or go on, Google it.
Oh, here we go. 55.4.
Oh, there you go. I wasn't too far off. 55.4. is our
Winter.
one of the coolest days in winter, really, isn't it?
It's not very often we go below.
It doesn't really go below that, nah. But at night it does. That's a high. The coldest in this part of the world, in Malala, would be probably...
Oh no, I've had -1 in the morning.
Yeah, -1.
Going to 1.
Yeah,
going
but
to
that's
work.
13's the high.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, -1 in the morning, and we get up and the cars are frosted over, maybe a bit of ice. Yeah, that's our winter. So it's pretty pathetic compared to a lot of other places in the world. But
No snow.
even in no snow. Other places in Australia are a lot colder than here. But yeah, it does get one thing about Malala, just to go off track of our fence building here and go on to about weather. But in Malala, it is quite chilling, the winters here, even though the degrees won't be, is it like the wind chill? Because the wind blows in from the sea, there's nothing to stop it apart from a few little eucalypts here and there, but it's all farmland all the way basically to the sea, which is only 15 minutes drive away. And that is in a gulf though, it's not out in the Arctic Sea. But yeah, it blows in and it is quite chilling. When I moved here, I was surprised how cold it is. But what's your take? Has it been cold here?
Oh, it's been cold, but I've been colder.
Oh yeah, I'm from England.
It's cold in England.
Yeah, well, no,
time. I get snow.
No crap.
Yeah.
Anyway, back to our focus on the fence. So we're about to get up and get into the concreting, and we'll go as far as we can today. See how far we get by tonight. Everything's ready to go. I'll take you over there and I'll show you what I've done to get ready for the concrete so that you can see a good view before we fill it up. But yeah, I've got everything ready. And now I'm not a professional, I should say. I am not a professional at doing concreting or electrical work, and especially concrete with electrical in it. But hey, I've got a brain and I can figure out kind of what to do, and I've got the beauty of YouTube and Google for any questions. So I did call my brother and ask him what size cable I need for my solar panel. So we quickly added that into it. That's for the electric gates. So I've got plenty of cable there, plenty of power to feed the power from one side to the other, the charge for the batteries. So yeah, we're going to get up now. I'll show you what we're doing and we're going to start concreting. You ready for this?
Let's go.
All right. Enthusiastic at the start. I like it. Alrighty, so these orange conduits have got lighting cable in them, and that's for a coach light that is going to be facing out into the carport, so we can see where to drive into the carport. We'll have another one inside the carport. Then we've got in the middle there, we're going to have a gate with a coach lamp outside either side of the gate. That one down there, I didn't have to come up that high, but that one is for just where it goes into the house. That pier will be right on the corner of the parlour wall, so that power will just go in and it will hook into the power in there. What I'll do, I'll have a double switch, so I'll have a light switch on the, I might have a light switch on the wall or the side of the fence, and then I'll have another one by the door, so we can switch it on as we come, or if we leave it on, we can put our hand outside the door and turn it off. So that's that. So down here, this is the cable I added in this morning. So I've got 2 lots of power cable here, so that's the thick stuff. So I've put in 2 lots to double up the flow on that, so that will help as it goes across here. So this one here, I haven't done anything with it at the moment. I've got to dig a trench across this concrete driveway and put the cable underneath there. It's only low voltage, so it doesn't need to be deep. So inside the trench I've got some mesh there, and I've got my conduits with I've just realized I haven't taped. I'm taping the joints just to make sure no moisture gets in, but it's a solid cable in there, there's no joints in there. So Julie's just lumping bags of cement for me. Good job, she's done all of those so far. So then here we've got our Rio for the piers. So this is 16 mil, or you would call it 3/8, I think, something like that. Not 3/8, sorry, some fraction that's bigger than ½ inch, and bigger than, yeah, it's bigger than ½ inch. 5/8, yeah, that's what we'll go with. So 5/8 Rio bar there that I'm going to cut in half, and then when we put the concrete in, I'm going to go in the, not right in the corners, but I'm going to come in a bit more than what the size of the brick will be, and we're going to stab it down into the wet concrete, and we'll just whack a level on it to make sure that it's you know, within cooey. So yeah, we got Rio, 2 bits of Rio in each one of those holes. So these holes here are 900 deep, so that's 3 feet deep, and I haven't gone heaps deep across here because there's only going to be 3 rows of bricks along these wall sections, and then I'm going to go timber frame with some cement sheeting on it, and then I'm going to render the cement sheeting. So that's not going to be a real heavy thing. I've got the Rio in there anyway. The conduit and the power, or the power in the conduit, is in the concrete, so there'll be no fear of digging and hitting wires. There'll be no moisture because it's all sealed up, so that I think is all a positive. So yeah, so that's where we are. So now all we need to do is fire up the cement mixer. I should mention that thanks to Albie and Allison from Acres and Intersections for the loan of their cement mixer. Luckily they've dropped it off, and when I hurt my ribs and I couldn't do anything for a while, they didn't come and collect it, they let us just hold on to it, so thanks to them for that. So yeah, we're gonna fire up the cement mixer now and get going. All right, now are you ready, Julie?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, let's do it. Where is it?
There.
I know, but I'm trying to see on the camera. Julie just nearly put her hand on this little friend here, but he's just hanging out. I think it's a
don't go in the bag.
Red back minus the red back, which I believe is the male of the species. So I've been bitten by one of them. That is one of our so that is a red back. So I'll put my finger next to it so you can see the size.
Well, don't get bitten.
Well,
okay.
I'm not going to get bitten. Alright, so you can see the size. They're only little. And I got bitten. It was in a glove, and I put my hand in and it didn't like it, so it bit me. And
oh, look, there he is.
Well, squash it now. Now, squash it before it runs into something else I'm going to pick up. It's not going to kill me, I know this because I'm still alive. But I did go to hospital and they gave me some anti-venom, but the anti-venom it really just stops pain. It gave me a pain up my arm, and it can last for a couple of weeks. But I won't go to the hospital again, because when I went there, the nurses thought I was a bit of a pussy for carrying on about pain in my arm. So I need to man up next time and just go, oh well, it's only a bit of pain, it'll go away. But they can be dangerous. If you can have an effect, you can have a reaction to them that is bad, but I didn't, so I know that now. So it's all good, it's all safe. So guys, just while we're getting ready to do the concreting, Can you, if you're enjoying the video, hit like for me? That would be awesome. I need to get a bit more exposure out there, and by hitting the like and commenting, it really will help me to get there, so that'd be really appreciated. So also I wanted to say, can you please let me know in the comments if the talking by me and Julie sitting at the table was good or was it bad? You know, we enjoy sitting there and having a bit of a yak that's not about the job, so if you like it, we're happy to put more in, but if you don't like it, I can leave it out. So anyway, on to the concreting. First we had to empty the sand out of the trailer and wheel it all the way around and dump it near the cement mixer. So we had quite a few, I can't remember how many it was, but it was quite a few of the wheelbarrow loads of sand. So Julie and I eventually got a bit of a system going, and we did notice, we couldn't help but notice, the cement mixer was a little bit low. So we had to get some better bricks because we must have a really high wheelbarrow and we couldn't tip it in there, so we had to lift it up, but that worked quite well for us once we got it going. So now the mix for this is we did a half mix just because the cement mixer was gets quite heavy to turn it if we did do a full mix to start with, so we went to half mixes, and for that we had half a bucket of cement and we had 3 buckets of the sand and gravel mix. So that's a half mix, and then we had 2/3 of a bucket of water. So that gave us the consistency that we were after. So yeah, it was really good that Julie jumped in, and once she knew what had to be done, we just did it. Like just there, she was digging up the concrete that had overflowed with her hands and putting it back in the formwork. So you know, she's just happy to get in and do whatever she can do. It's just sometimes she doesn't know what to do, but once she knows, she gets in and she works hard, so I love that. We both do. That's why we're so buggered at the end of this. So yeah, you can see we had a system doing different things. I tipped the sand in there. Julie got the next load of cement ready. I filled up the water for the next load, and then while I was emptying it, Julie fills up the first bucket of sand. So, and then we just kept going round and round. So yeah, it was a good day all in all. We can improve on what we did, but as you can see, you know, we're always trying to enjoy ourselves and have a drink while we're working. So you can see here that once I lifted that cement mixer up, it went in there no problems. Didn't get any spillage once I realised you just need to put the wheelbarrow on a bit of an angle. So, and that's with any tools, you just have to work out the little you know, tricks and tips with each tool you use, and that's how you get better, by going, how can I get a better finish with this tool? Alright, maybe I hold it like this or do that. So that's what we did. So putting the cement in, so this last little bit that I'm doing, we didn't want to show you the whole thing, but the last bit I shoveled in so it didn't all spill out everywhere. So as I was shoveling it in, I was just stabbing it in to vibrate it all down, fill up any little gaps, and that's why you'll see at the end of it, this pier ended up than the first pier we did. The first pier had some corners missing, so that's a technique I'll use when I do the next one. So I went and got myself a bigger screed, so then I could keep that nice and flat, and I ended up going, yeah, we overfilled it, push a bit out. So just gave that a quick screed while it was in its really wet stage, and then when it had dried off a little bit, you can see we had the concrete just a tad wet. So for the next one, we'll know to not have quite as much water in it. It did make it easier to fill, but it left it harder to finish off Now if this was a footpath, that would be no good at all, but luckily it's just a fence footing and it's all going to be covered. So yeah, it was quite easy just to make that look sort of half decent. I didn't even come back afterwards because we were so buggered. When I went inside and got cleaned up, apart from coming out to have a look at it, I just left it at this little quick trowel. So next day, which happened to be today, Father's Day, we got home from our Father's Day lunch at Julie's family's house, or also my dad's place, and yeah, let's get this formwork off. So we just got in, undid all the screws, because I put screws there so that it could just be unscrewed and knocked apart, and that worked well for me. Might not work well for others, but it did for me. So you can see the plastic, I don't know, I'm tempted to rip it out of the rest of it, but then I'd have to redo all the Rio and the other, so I'll probably leave it there. But you can see it's not the tidiest finish with the plastic there like that. So once we loosened that off, next day it was right hardness and it come out. I didn't have an edging tool, but really you don't need an edging tool for this type of thing. So we just left it square off of the formwork, and it left it quite tidy once you got all this formwork off. And the beauty of having the plastic go over the formwork is I can reuse all this timber for other things. So I bought structural timber, so now I've got some extra little pieces of timber that might come in handy for some noggins or some window trims or whatever it might be. So those stakes come out quite easy with a bit of a whack. So all in all, I was really happy with this concreting job. Mine and Julie's first ever together, and mine second job in in about 25 years. So you can see once we got the plastic off, it left a few creases on the edge, but I will be rendering the piers and everything, so it's not going to matter. So you'll see the finished result. It come up pretty nice, and that we need to add more soil to the lawn in this area because it was quite obviously lower than the other side. So we were happy with our weekend's work. Another success story. So thanks guys for making it to the end, and please let me know if the chats between me and Julie are too long, and I'll cut them down or I'll skip them all together. So thanks guys, talk to you in the next one. So we got the finished product there, but we didn't get all this done. So what we discovered is we need another 4 ton to do all of this, because this little bit here right there took a ton of sand and gravel exactly, and 4.5 bags of cement. So pretty happy with it. Down here we got the corners that only on the outer bit didn't fill in fully, but that's okay because underneath it's got plenty in there, and by the time the bricks put on there, that's not going anywhere. I can fill that up with a bit of concrete if I feel the need, but where the formwork was, where it'll be seen, is all nice and smooth. Underneath along here, that can either be chipped off or left, because this is all be filled up with dirt up to that level, because this is lower. The rest of it, if you have a look around, you can see that it's sitting on the ground. So I'm happy with that. We didn't finish it off like a footpath, but it's flat and it's level, and that's all you need for a brick fence. So that's it, guys.
Job done. And don't forget to give us a like, give us a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel. And cheers.
Cheers.